All right, Hunter, let's take a look at your paper MLA format first. This has got to be the same font as the rest of your paper. This is good. October is capitalized, no comma there. Have too many spaces there, so get rid of that space. This is cute. Now, here's an interesting thing about titles. Your title is cute, and I could see how you could kind of tie it into your paper. But this is obviously a funny title. Nothing in your at least first paragraph has anything to do with being funny. So here's a clear-cut case of tone not matching. Okay. All right. Number one, through your introduction, first you need a tab. You have too many spaces, so fix that. Was a note with a promised future ahead. Don't need the comma there until he faltered, and it led to a tragic downfall. You start right off with the play, right off with the author, right off with Macbeth. Ease into it. Don't just jump right into the play, because you're really essentially starting off with your topic. Really try to ease into that. To the disorder, again, too many spaces. And is it right to say disorder here, then go right into disorder here? Why didn't you capitalize stress? Why do you need a comma here? This is the wrong use of a hyphen. Clinic should be capitalized. The symptoms of, then you have a colon, of insomnia. So this is not a complete sentence. The symptoms of insomnia ultimately destroy Macbeth. So the symptoms of insomnia, and then I would use, we just learned this today, actually, I'd use a dash, and then do all of these, dash, ultimately destroy Macbeth. Eventually, comma, his men and the people around him lost faith in him, which is true. But in between your main points and your thesis statement, there shouldn't be anything. It should go right one to the other. But this is not a thesis statement. This is just stuff that happened in the play. He loses love interest. I'm not exactly sure what that means. You wouldn't need a comma here because this is not a complete sentence, and feels extreme guilt for killing King Duncan. So these, again, are just things that happen in the play. You don't even have a thesis statement at this point. There's no message statement about how the disease affects him in the play. So you got a lot of work to do with that introduction to get us ready to read the rest of the paper. So, Hunter, we got a lot of silly mistakes as well that we got to work on. Into the then King Duncan, so no comma there. Things go, don't use very bad. Okay. Once Macbeth actually kills him, is when things begin to fall apart for Macbeth. And you use a colon, so you're introducing this. He thought, capitalize the I. Still it cried sleep no more. Then it's turned around. And then finally you get into what the symptom actually is. He began to see signs of PTSD. And look at how many times you have spaces in here. Too many spaces in here. This is not a complete sentence, not a complete thought, so it's out of place here. You cite your source, which is good. This proved to me from the book that this is true. Because I think I have a hard time where Macbeth says, man, I've been thinking about Duncan all the time laying awake at night. That just simply doesn't happen. So it drives him wild. How? Don't use the word extreme. Extreme is almost as bad as really or very. Is quite possibly a large contributing factor. Well, you just are writing a paper about it. So I'm assuming it is a contributing factor. I'm not sure why it's quite possibly a large contributing factor. But it's also a small part in the disorder that ultimately kills him. I'm not sure how it can be quite possibly a large part and a small part in the same time. So you definitely need a better sentence there. But you need a transition between here and here. Now that I'm, now that I've done this symptom, now I'm moving on to this symptom, sort of thing. And because you don't have a good thesis statement, you don't have anything to really talk about in the paper other than it was a symptom that led to his downfall, and you're going to lose some points because you're not able to tie that thesis in. All right, with insomnia, this is possessive, so you need an apostrophe. Symptoms in full effect, comma. It also leads into another symptom that contributes. So just say for King Duncan or for King Macbeth. I don't know. You don't need that. It's kind of an awkward phrasing. This is a fragment sentence. So you have, again, you got to do a good job of backing up what you're saying. You don't have a capitalization here. Therefore causing. So this is the wrong use of a semicolon as well. So they're growing distant at the end. You didn't capitalize Lady Macbeth here. She's ill-struck. I guess that's okay wording, but you'd probably want to hyphenate it. He shows little to no interest of her all, care of that, which is good. Again, you would want to put the... I know you're trying to add on to it, but it's already a long enough sentence here. It's already convoluted enough. And you use a colon here, so you're going to want to end that here. So put the period here, from here, and start a new sentence. And this is a weak wording here, showing a non-interested emotion. No comma here. His emotional detachment from his men, which you never talk about, and his wife, which you don't need the comma here, cause him to lose passion for his country, and no comma here, and even love interest in his wife, which, I don't know, I wouldn't really get into their love life or get into their, I don't know, I just think, I like the idea of being preoccupied. I think that's important because of the context of the play. I mean, he's in the middle of a war. He doesn't have time to worry about his wife, but I think that he is detached once he, which you don't even talk about her death, because that's where he really has the detachment, is after she dies. He doesn't mourn her. He just realizes that life is short and, you know, she would have died soon anyway. So that's where you got to look into. Again, no thesis statement, so no tying into a thesis statement. You need a transition statement here that you don't have. So again, things that we need. All right, so your next symptom is about reliving the event. You still need a stronger topic sentence. And is that and then some to Macbeth? I would just say, I would reword that. It's a great horror for Macbeth to live through. I don't know. Don't use very. Crazy yet vivid hallucinations on killing Duncan. You don't need the comma there. But now you're jumping into the idea of hallucinations and not reliving the event. The dagger isn't reliving the event because he hasn't done the event yet. So he can't be reliving it if he hasn't done it yet. Now, if the paragraph is about hallucinations, I guess that's fine, but that's not what you said it was about. But yet his eyes as well as his brain, comma, say otherwise. So no comma here, and come to the realization, no comma here, that what he's done to the former king was not a great thing to do. Poor wording. We've got to improve our word choice there. This part I actually really like. The weight of Duncan's coffin now appears to be resting on Macbeth's chest, as well as his conscience. Now, again, it's not this event that is doing this, because he hasn't killed Duncan yet when he sees the blade in front of him, the dagger in front of him. Later on, after he kills him, man, is he upset about it. But you got to make sure that you're in the right chronological order here. This is a run-on sentence. And again, how would you prove this? I don't think you can based on what happens in the play. So, thesis, tie-in, transitional statement still. And you have a little bit of one here. So just, you can be conscientious of that. Now, you say the next thing is self-destructive, that he's a self-destructive person as well as a pushover. Is that being a pushover really a symptom of PTSD? So I'm intrigued by that. All right. This is kind of a meandering paragraph here. So this is about his self-destructive behavior, which I think is a really good topic to talk about. You don't really need this second sentence when you just basically said this in the sentence before. But Hunter, one thing that you're really going to need to work on for the next paper, or actually the rewrite too, I'm assuming you're going to rewrite here, is that you just need to go back and reread some of these sentences. That symptom added along with the they type of personality Macbeth has makes for the perfect storm. So just silly things like that that you just need to reread again. And go over comma rules. You only use a comma conjunction when you have two complete sentences on either side, and you obviously don't on this case. So once a noble, no comma, and loyal soldier with nothing but good things on the horizon, and then you talk about his wife, gets in his head, no comma, and convinces him to kill, which it's self-destructive behavior. So why are you talking about his wife if it's self-destructive? His wife has nothing to do with it. This is a sentence fragment. And this is the part that I think is real. His biggest flaw is his own self, but his biggest flaw happens to be a major symptom of PTSD. Well, I'm assuming if it's his biggest flaw, it does have to do with PTSD. So I'm not sure if that sentence even needs to be in there too. However, comma, whenever you have however at the beginning, you're probably starting off this transitional phrase. So you got to put that in there. You don't need to capitalize Royal Thanes. You can't use you in your paper. You don't have any quotes from the play in here. You don't have any quotes from an outside source in here. So you got commas here that shouldn't be there. So anyways, you got a lot of things that you need to work on with support in this paragraph. So let's look at your conclusion here. All right, so start off, you need your thesis restated, which you don't really do. You need to take a sentence to go over all of your body paragraphs, which you don't really do. It's all over the place. And then you need to have a strong ending sentence, which you kind of just go over the play again. But this paragraph screams of last minute. I mean, Macbeth's not capitalized. Duncan's not capitalized in here. It costed Macbeth. It's not even a word. It cost him. You use cost about 4 or 5 times in here. And you just kind of meander all throughout this. So make it succinct, make it to the point, follow all the guidelines, all of those things. Here's all these websites that you used. It is in order, which is fine. But even this, like, you didn't capitalize web. You didn't add periods to any of the endings here. You added commas that you didn't need. I don't know if this is a reliable website. You have a couple commas here. You just, all these silly mistakes. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Hunter. Next time we do a paper, you have got to sit down with me so that we can go over your essay, because there are so many things that at conference with me, we could have eliminated a lot of these things. And so you just really need to sit down and with somebody that knows what they're doing and go through this paper with you just to point out some of these things. I can help you with these little videos, but you're going to need some while you're doing it too. So hopefully we see a rewrite out of you.